All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Attack on Titan Season 4, Episode 20. 420, baby.
Oh, blaze it.
Last time we had an episode 20 of a season, we broke this world.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
And that literally might happen again.
It could. Who knows?
I am
maybe just break
out.
our minds because Eren and Zeke are in paths.
And
apparently
they're not done.
They're not done, and Zeke is the one in control.
Yep. Zeke has...
This could be bad.
Zeke has, because of his connection with the royal lineage, basically, now has freedom here, but he wanted to give Eren the opportunity to make a choice. And because Eren's choice was one that he was sadly, confirmed to be, well, damn it, I thought you might think like this.
Damn it, you don't want to euthanize your entire race.
Yeah,
shit.
So I'm going to have to try and convince you.
Right.
Well, you fucked up, Zeke. You're going to get zooked, because that's not going to work. There's no way that's going to work.
You sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But even if it doesn't, does it matter? Because, like, Ymir is just doing whatever he says because he's the one with the royal blood. So, like, even if Eren doesn't agree with Zeke by the end of this conversation...
Right. I want this to be the opportunity for them to also explore Ymir's past. I feel like if we can get as close as possible to the answers of everything, like, Ymir's story essentially has to be that. And there's a lot of cool things that they could do there. So, y'all, be ready. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but depending on what we get, I could see this discussion being a doozy. So just all right. But we have some amazing comments that have been sent towards
wonderful
us,
comments
from people that got the code from the last episode's discussion, which there will be another one for this episode's discussion at the end as well.
So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, first one from Cabral fan. It's not your fault. I'll never not be astounded at how complex the morality of this final arc is, to the point that even most fans are split over who to root for. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah. For instance, I notice you guys tend to be pretty anti-Flock, which, I mean, fair enough. He's an asshole. But he's also the embodiment of the asshole has a point trope. Sure. And the people he's fighting against are aggressors in a war of genocide. Yeah. Yep. I think it's because the narrative beats are pretty much all treats pretty much all of the characters, regardless of if they're, in quotes, good or bad people, as people. Flock is an ultra-nationalist who burned down civilian buildings in Liberio, but he's also a traumatized teenager that's a target of genocide by everywhere but his home nation. Yep.
That's a... Yeah.
Magath is a member of a military dictatorship that uses likely conscripted Eldians as suicide bombers. But he also cares for the warrior candidates, and his desire to prevent the rumbling is out of a desire to defend innocence as much as this Flock's desires to start it. Yeah, exactly.
It's a real predicament we're in here.
The whole thing. Yeah. It's almost like, there's people on both sides of a conflict that
and it's messy.
Like points that are decent, but none of them are perfect.
And maybe the biggest atrocities are committed when suddenly it actually becomes black and white, and suddenly it's just those devils.
Yep. It's honestly A+ writing. I think it's a big part of what truly elevated this series to the next level for me. I mean, seasons 1 through 3 were great and all, but honestly feels like just a prologue to the final arc. Yeah, that's because the final season thus far has been an entirely different show. So yeah. I like how the ReZero Season 2 left us thinking, oh, so now the real story can actually begin. Non-coincidentally, ReZero and Attack on Titan are also my top 2 ongoing anime at the moment, and some of my favorite anime of all time. That's awesome.
Both series are wonderful.
Yeah, both series are enjoyable. I think the main point that you bring up is that, people are very much having that issue of, wait, but who do I root for?
Right.
And then I think that's
what if it is messy?
Or the thing of how can you root for this side or
because
this
of the
character?
things that they've done? Yeah.
And it's like, well, yeah. Right. How can you root for anyone then, if that's the point?
It's a lot less rooting for sides and more rooting for people, right? Where it's like, oh yeah, this person. What were
Peak's lines? Yeah.
Yeah, what were Peak's lines? Yeah, I trust my comrades, even if I don't necessarily trust Marley, right?
Right.
I can be 100% on board with rooting for Reiner, even if I want, the Marleyan Empire to maybe stop doing the concentration camps and everything. And at the same time, I can be absolutely rooting for Mikasa and Armin, but
not necessarily
rooting for Eren. And they're helping him right now. So,
oh man, Eren Moore with the comment, "It's not your fault. Imagine being a manga reader in 2019. Eren gets his head blown clean off. And you need to wait an entire month to find out what happens next." The fandom was going absolutely wild. There were countless debates over whether Eren was dead or not. The hatred for Gabi had never been higher. People even convinced themselves that it was all an illusion created by Eren using the Founding Titan's memory manipulation powers because of Eren's pants seemingly regenerating after Porco bit them off. This was fixed in the anime. Oh my god, that is such classic, like, over, like, focus when it's like, this thing that was a slight, you know, art
maybe
error,
it means something.
That might mean something, yeah. This is honestly one of the reasons why I prefer manga as a medium. Anime onlys will never get to experience the story as it happened in real time. Yeah, I in some ways, that's why I preferred the anime medium.
Because then you don't have to deal with
I don't have to deal with that
shit.
bullshit. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, it's also with my whole thing of I consume anime through the channel week to week.
Yeah.
But it's the thing of if I wanted to, I could, you know, record with you an extra episode.
Sure.
And it's just like, oh yeah, for sure. But as I desire, I can choose my own pace. In that respect, that's also where I do like manga, is that I can just decide, I'm just going to go right through everything and read a ton of it. But then, of course, if I'm caught up, then I can't do that.
Yeah.
So that's why I'd probably stop and wait until another batch of something comes out.
Now, I just want to point something out from this comment. Comment in general, wonderful.
Yeah.
Imagine being a manga reader in 2019. That's how long ago it was that this came out in the manga.
Wow.
We are very close to the end of Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
Eren having his head turned into a Beyblade. That was 3 years ago. Yeah, it's 2022 right now.
Jesus. I didn't even think about that. Oh, okay. Final comment from Neko Chibi. It's not your fault. MAPPA outdid themselves for this episode. Oh, they heckin' did. A lot of people have been bringing up how two brothers can be interpreted, but there's another interesting recurring theme that I don't see a lot of comments about, and that's the fate of the Gallard and the Jaw Titan. Wow. Yeah. Throughout this final season, we've learned a lot about the Jaw Titan, its sheer power in breaking the Warhammer's crystals, more about its previous user, Marcel, etc. The Jaw Titan seems to be always fated to sacrifice itself to Reiner due to a sense of responsibility or guilt. Marcel sacrificed himself to save Reiner after the guilt on what he did was revealed. Yeah. Ymir willingly returned with Reiner and Bertolt to save them as she understood their situation, and the talk in the forest made her realize that she was likely the cause of their initial plan failing. The moment she knew Historia probably would have a future in the walls, she willingly left, knowing she'd be fed to the next warrior. Yeah. Yeah. That moment is so much more powerful when you know that like context.
Right, exactly.
But otherwise you're like, I don't really get it.
Okay, I guess she's helping them, whatever. Ymir is a wonderful character.
Yeah. Galliard is particularly interesting. In the childhood flashbacks, we see he bullied Reiner quite a bit and had an inferiority complex due to Reiner beating him. But notice after the time jump and why Reiner's time jump and acquisition of the Jaw Titan from Ymir, he's a lot less bitter towards Reiner. Now, you know, though he's still a little salty. Yes, exactly. Yeah. That is that as well. He questions Reiner's actions on the island from Ymir's memories, clearly wondering why Reiner's acting like Marcel and contradicting himself. He likely saw Reiner's weird freakout in the forest back in Season 2 with Bertolt, Ymir, and Eren too. The final tipping point for him was finding out Marcel's reasons for talking up Reiner and likely his final moments. Yeah. And with that, he sacrificed himself to save Reiner and Falco. Yeah. Yeah. It was a perfect, simple end for his
wonderful
character.
moment.
Yeah. Isn't it ironic that the Jaw Titan that can pierce through armor and defenses is the one that keeps saving the Armored Titan? I mean,
isn't that great?
That's just really cool. That's a great comment. Yeah. I think that Porco, or Galliard, whichever you prefer, is one of those characters that I will probably look back on later with a little bit more like scrutiny of those little details and stuff like that. But yeah, he unfortunately was sacrificed essentially for Reiner's character in a very powerful way. But I think he's contrasted really well with Peak, and the fact that one of my favorite things that writers will do when they're introducing new characters is they'll pair them with another character it
Sure.
can introduce. So you have a dynamic that's shipped essentially with the character.
Yeah, prepackaged for shipping.
Not literal the fandom shipping guys, but like the idea that we met Peak in the Marley context, like exactly the same time as Porco, it feels really powerful seeing how they treat Reiner differently.
Yes.
And thus I very much enjoy Porco as well.
Yeah. And also he's the character that, like, I remember when I went through the manga, right? I wasn't necessarily expecting a whole lot from Porco when I first saw him, right? You know?
That makes sense.
You know, it's like, okay, he's this guy, he doesn't like Reiner, right? He's got Ymir's Titan now. Okay, cool. You know. And he could have just been that. But by the end, so much more.
Yeah, and it's really the power of having a lot of things set up that were open-ended enough that Isayama could play with them, of the idea of there was another person that was just this character that went with the, you know, the Titan trio from season 1 and 2.
Right.
And we just never knew who that was.
Yeah,
but
what was their story?
When they were eaten, you know, Ymir gets a Titan. And we don't know any of the context for that.
Yep.
We don't really know what that's going to lead to. And it's been built and built and built and built till we end up getting this character here who now inherits all that stuff and, gets to be their character for this season.
Yeah. He gets dealt a real shitty hand, but does pretty good job with it, all things considered.
With what he gets, yeah. But y'all, I can't hold out anymore. Like, let's watch this episode and bust a collective nut together because holy shit!
No, that happened way earlier with the Warhammer Titan.
Right. Yeah. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Little baby Eren.
I love the
holy shit
sounds for this.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
Holy shit. Oh my god.
Isn't this wonderful?
It's like, it's beautiful, but it's like
also chilling.
It's depressing, like
sure.
Like
yeah.
Oh. Whoa. Oh my god, Eren just
like, you done?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He got close.
He got really close. Oh my god. Whoa. Whoa.
Yeah, maybe he just couldn't do it.
Damn.
Uh-huh.
Oh, this is juicy. So he's not.
Yeah.
He's not.
He knows
really
where the Founding Titan is, and he's not going after it.
Whoa.
Uh-huh. Like, how do you reconcile that, Zeke? But he didn't love you that much.
I mean, in some ways, it might be the opposite, though. Like,
kept that picture.
Yeah. Holy shit! Whoa!
Uh-huh. Yeah. Whose memories are these?
Whoa.
And now Eren's guiding it.
Yeah. Whoa! Oh, oh
yeah! Let's go! Oh, MAPPA, thank you. Thank you so much. God. Yeah. Let's go.
Memories of the future. Oh fuck! Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh, it's happening! It's happening! We're changing things, y'all! Oh, oh my god!
親に洗脳なんてだから無駄だという何年も親父の記憶をさまよう前に
Wandered for years.
だとしたら
Oh.
なぜお前は俺を
Good question.
エレンなぜ争いを終わらせることを拒む始祖の力を使ってどうする
Yeah, yeah,
Good
cause
question.
俺は生まれた時から
yeah, yeah, yeah.
俺のままだ
Yep. All the way back to then.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Both of them having the same expression.
God.
他人から自由を奪われるくらいなら俺はそいつから自由を親父が俺をそうしたわけじゃない俺は生まれた時からこうだ
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. No tragic backstory at this point.
Nope. This is before all that.
だとしたら男は父親に感謝している
Sure.
この父親の行いが息子を目覚めさせエルディアの危機から世界を救うのだからある意味世界を救ったのはこの父親だ
Yeah.
Oh, if you
Think about it,
continue
isn't it?
with that, things get really, really trippy, though.
安楽死計画はいつでも遂行できる俺はお前を
Wow.
決して見捨てない
Yeah,
Isn't this
Zeke.
great?
Oh.
母さんが俺にそうしてくれたように世界を救う前にたった一人のお前を救いた
I
い
have so much hope for Zeke, but
I
it's
know,
just
right?
like... And stores it for the future.
That damn key.
So now it's that day, isn't it? Oh!
ただいま。
おかえりなさい。
Yep.
Oh my god!
Back to the very beginning.
エレンが調査兵団に入りたいって。
ミカサ、言うなって。
エレン、何を考えているの？
I love Zeke's expression.
Yeah. And this is it.
どうして外に出たいんだ
Getting another angle on it.
知りたいんだ。外の世界がどうなっているのか。
It's, you know, MAPPA animated now. It's completely different.
Yep.
帰ったらずっと秘密にしていた地下室
See
を
where he's
Holy
looking?
shit!
Yeah.
Holy
Uh-huh.
shit!
Uh-huh.
Holy shit!
Yep.
Oh!
Uh-huh.
Oh!
Uh-huh.
So Grisha's been essentially just getting this drip feed of memories from the future of like,
Uh-huh.
I can see
this
you in my
whole
mind's
fucked up
eye,
cycle.
Eren.
私は壁の外から来たエルディア人あなた方と同じユミルの民です
I wonder, is Zeke like able to notice what's going on?
壁の王よ今すぐ壁に攻めてきた巨人を殺してください妻や子供たちが壁の民が
That's said first, yep. Yep.
Yep.
再び始祖の力が弱き者の手に落ちる。
Oh.
地獄と化す。
God, there's so much wrapped in that that's so fucked.
我々は罪を受け入れ。滅びる
God.
ほかないの。
Oh my god.
Yep.
あのお姉ちゃんとは気が合いそうだ
Yeah, uh-huh.
この
Oh
一
my
家はこ
god.
こでグリシャによって皆殺しにされる
Mm-hmm.
お前はかつてこの記憶を見たと言ったなそして父親に深く失望した
この壁に住む人々は誰も先祖の犯した罪など知らないあなたが壁の民の記憶を
Oh my god.
わけもわからず巨人に食われることが食材だというのか
The way his eyes are so panicked here,
我
like
々がいくら反省したところで、我々エルディア人が奪った人々の命を戻すことはできません。壁の外の人類の命を奪うことを防ぐこと。
If we continue to live like cattle.
死ぬのは我々エルディア
whoa, look at Eren's face.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
など無駄なことです。私から始祖の巨人を奪ったとして、
Oh my
あ
god.
なたでは
分かっている私が始祖の力を使えないこと
Grisha didn't want to do it.
9つの巨人にはそれぞれの特性があるかねてより進撃の巨人の継承者は何者にも従うことがなかった私にはその理由がわかる
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit, Eren, what are you doing? What have you done? Oh shit!
Yep. Uh-huh.
Which isn't even really what it is, it's just that's what Eren has done now. He's just, oh my god! Yeah, it's not a thing, that's just Eren with the Attack Titan and the Founding Titan. Oh my god! I'm gonna set you free of that. Yep. Oh my god.
And here we go.
Oh, Grisha!
Just like that. But there were kids here. This was a family.
Oh, fuck! Wait!
Uh-huh.
Did that just not happen? Wait, what?
Maybe we're on a new timeline now.
Maybe Grisha's seen them too many times now. Oh shit, is this the reason why the founder doesn't actually beat Grisha here? Is because Grisha did do this? Like, and it made her doubt, like... Oh my god.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep.
Oh my god. You keep moving forward. Oh my god.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That was beautiful.
Yes! 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 Yes, exactly! Oh, shit. Yeah, let's get the aftermath of this.
Because remember, Grisha was all kinds of messed up in the head when he gave Eren the injection.
Uh-huh. Oh my god!
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Who brainwashed who?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, the music. Oh. Yeah, selectively showing him.
You could have showed him the future.
Yep.
You know?
But nope. Just pushing him just enough to break him. Oh god! See, this is what I wanted. Oh. Oh.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Oh no! Oh fuck! God, the voice acting!
I know.
Hey! God, Zeke just this is all he ever could have dreamed he wanted.
And
but now it's
not
here.
at all the way
Not all the way. Yeah. Well, there's Zeke's death flag. Please stop him. Oh shit.
Yep.
Oh shit.
Uh-huh. man!
Well,
That was beautiful! Everything I could have wanted and more. We got it.
Kuma.
Oh. So, thoughts? Do you trust Eren? And is there any way we can get this ED? Is there any way?
Well, there's a couple ways in which we're guaranteed this ED. Jacob. He's always been the same. So seeing him here young, looking at the future, you know?
Even back then, before his mom died.
This is what he believed in some ways he wanted to see, and now he's getting to see it.
And is that because that was Eren, or is that just because that's part of the whole Titan muckery of, you know, memories getting sent around and...
Holy shit. We got our time travel, bros. We got our time travel.
Hell yes,
and now it's time for a rumbling. Attack on Titan just flipped the whole fucking script.
Yep. Yes, it did.
The whole fucking script.
I have been waiting for this for so long.
I have been in some ways too. Because once paths were introduced, I'm like, give me my time travel.
Yep.
Give it to me.
And what a way that Isayama and Studio MAPPA delivered on it.
I am so impressed by the way they took Grisha. In some ways, almost to the point of where Grisha had his Shadis moment here, basically.
Yeah.
Where it's like, we're going back.
Oh, I'm not the main character.
To all those moments of where Grisha was like, I'm going to be the hero. I'm going to end this. I'm going to save this. But you know what? The most fucked up thing about all this is that things were going differently.
Right.
Things were going differently. In some really, like, simple but subtle way, Isayama basically told us what kind of time travel this was. Because Eren was on a course that was different. Now tell me if I'm just objectively wrong here, but by going back, all those moments where they were then being seen by Grisha was deviating.
So that's the crazy thing. No, actually.
No.
So, in the manga, I can't remember how they handle this in the anime, but in the manga, literally at that moment where he's walking out of the house, in like the episode 1 stuff, if you go back and compare, it matches. Like it wasn't obvious of like exactly like, you know, like it was cleverly disguised, right?
How much of that is just like, you know, clever interpretation, or like
I haven't looked at the panels
like how much
side
of it is
by side in a while.
How much of it is objectively seeded, like through stuff like that?
Well, here's another way to think about it. What's the name of the first episode?
Oh,
you know,
yeah. I mean, well, that's like, been one of the things that I've just held in the back of my mind for like forever.
Right. Like,
but I thought that was more the key of this being a time loop.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
And that's kind of the aspects of the time loop coming into play here.
Starting over, and in some ways, I think that works as well, because what we are now on the direction of here is that Eren's about to do the unthinkable in some ways.
It does seem that way.
I would say that Eren is become
the attack titan.
Well, right, but in some ways also the devil of all Earth, if you will, in some ways, is that those eyes, those convictions, those bits of where, oh no, I've always been like this. Yep. That's so cool to hear Eren say,
and so chilling,
because you realize fundamentally when you think of Eren over the course of these 4 seasons, who he's been. He's gone through some pits, some low points. And in some ways, one of the things that's been impressive is how much he's actually changed. Like, he's actually had moments of ridiculously good changing like bits here. But there were moments where you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
He's been broken down, but that core was still there, right?
Is he actually changed, or is it more that the thing that was there has kind of lain dormant? And the idea that Eren here reinforced the thing that was maybe always going to be the case then, if that's it, then Eren through this path shit also begets some aspects of who he would end up becoming, not necessarily in the full paradoxical kind of sense.
Yeah,
but it is very, very close then.
Right. We don't see, like, because we're on this iteration, which probably is going to be the final iteration, and that's why the story is being told of this one. Right, exactly. We don't necessarily get to see exactly how the changing of the timelines ends up working, but it's probably very similar to this and how this episode ended up going.
That's the thing, is that I don't think then if this is not a deviation, like the whole thing of the knife dropping.
Like it's possible that it is, but I believe that the knife dropping, I believe, was something that it did actually happen that way. But if anything, since Eren has been trying to get different timelines going, you know, like with Eren Kruger and all that stuff, that maybe this is those might have been some ways that he made sure that, like, it ended up going this way, you know?
Right. But that's why I think that there's still some things that they could end up showing with regards to path shit.
Of exactly like how things are being influenced.
Right, because then how would Eren have memories that he's sending to Grisha of, like, this is what's coming next?
Right,
because that's already happened.
Right, memories of the future, that also, like, there could be infinite different iterations of memories of the future that then get sent back in time because, you know, different timelines and different things happen.
And you don't need to communicate that in the most, like, strict sense with regards to a story like this, because it's more important that you get at really where the characters are at than whether you have your exact mechanics of time travel fully implemented, because a lot of stories have that issue where once the story hits that end point there and you're in a fantastical world, time travel is sometimes there as the crutch to prop up the last fumbling, you know, aspects of a story. But no, this
don't you mean the last rumbling?
Yeah. But no, this is something that I've been like looking forward to as an actual thing got into in the story for years now. And now that this is the way that they're exploring it, the idea that Eren and Zeke both went on this, very much a Ghosts of Christmas Past kind of little adventure here. And it's a thing where Zeke very much kind of fucked up. He did get zooked here.
Right, like he thought he was going to be changing Eren's mind. No. And I love that. I love that this is such a Zeke focused episode, because
it is a Zeke focused episode.
Because with like every time that Attack on Titan focuses on Zeke, it's knocked out of the park.
Amazing.
Like it's just peak storytelling. You know, don't make the pun. You know, but like so the fact that we get this turn of events, you know, with how the show's been going, where it's like, oh shit, okay, I guess Zeke is the true villain, you know, antagonist, right? You know, all of that stuff. He's gonna do the euthanasia thing. Damn, right?
Euthanization.
Euthanization. Yeah. But okay, but he's going to try and convince Eren, right?
Because he wants to save him.
He wants to save his brother.
He wants to do this with him, and and Zeke having his moment of, hey, this is what you get. It's almost like Eren is basically like, yeah, I'll let you have this, but that's all you get. When they get pulled. When they get pulled out of things there, I don't think Zeke is what. I don't think Zeke made the decision to pull out of this moment here.
Exactly. Eren's saying, all right, let's go to the next one. You know, the fact that at the end, even though Eren is the one in chains, the power dynamic of the situation has shifted.
Entirely.
It feels very much like the declaration of war in episode 5, which feels kind of apropos.
It's almost like it's now Eren's turn to be like, now I'm gonna show you why I'm right, and I want the next episode to be basically that, because here's the thing that they're setting up that is a very, very scary proposition for a series to end on here, is that Eren is the antagonist. He is also the protagonist, or one of them.
Sure. A villain protagonist or something like that.
Yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
But if he does the rumbling, he is going to be the most hated, vilified person in this universe. Like on a scale that beggars any kind of belief that he has redemption, or any kind of serious ways in which he can alter this.
He didn't even seem remorseful or anything when he was convincing Grisha to kill the children.
No.
Right?
It was more of a thing of where you almost felt like this was this was the moment where Eren was like, no. Do I need to remind you, basically? Do I need to shove it into your head again, basically? Like what is basically like
what justification do we need? We were born into this world.
Yeah, it's a very, very scary thing, and that the ED's words ring terrifyingly true here.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And now in the simplest sense here, Eren has come all the way full circle to reconciling the fact that who he was in the beginning of season 4 was actually the person who realized where things were going and needed like just a final little bit of
needed to be sure. Yeah.
Needed to be 100% sure. And that's so just
heartbreaking.
Sad and heartbreaking. Is the idea that in that like moment where he needed the confirmation that he was to go through with this whole thing here,
right,
is that moment was not shared with Mikasa or Armin.
Nope.
That was shared with Reiner.
Yeah.
That was shared with Falco. I think that's beautiful personally because of what Reiner represents in the story as well.
Sure.
But I think it's extra special because of what Falco represents in the story.
Okay.
And that's why I've been like also just extremely excited about Falco.
Right.
But then having all this in conjunction with getting the other perspective of Zeke's backstory instead of the Grisha kind of view of it, we then get the other perspective, if you will, of the Grisha backstory, which was the thing that we had, lightly a vague idea of really, before he went to Paradise.
Right,
basically.
We'd already gotten it. There wasn't anything more to show. Well, but maybe not.
But yeah, now looking back at the moments where Eren kind of became the owl for a bit there, and moments where you can very much tell that that Grisha was was getting to the end of his rope.
Right. Well, to put it another way, there's the, Eren talked about how I have no problem taking away the freedoms of other people that are trying to take away the freedoms of others, in turn, right? So the people who kidnapped Mikasa and and killed her mom and everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He would kill them. Yeah,
exactly. Then you get to the children of the family that will potentially be inheritors of the founding Titan. Keep this whole thing going, keep his people being slaughtered. Okay. Then you go to just the freedom of his own father in making the decision of whether or not to kill the children. Nope.
Yeah, Eren has Eren has truly become the villain of this story. He was, I would say, showing all the signs of it in the hintings, basically, in the build up to it for a while.
We can understand how he got to this place, but he's in this place.
But where he's going is something that he's already seen.
Yeah, the fact that I love so much that Grisha, in the past, starts talking to the memory of Zeke that he is seeing.
Yeah.
To say, please stop Eren.
Please stop him.
Like what a line, what a moment, and all of this coming from where Zeke thought he was the one in control. If that's not chilling, I don't know what is.
Right. I love the bad theory of Grisha here though. That's like one of my favorite little moments. I feel like Grisha became me for a second. He's the hidden trait of the Attack Titan is that it can it can see the future, like memories.
It can send future memory, or it can get future memories from the past, or send future memories to the past. Yeah.
Right. Of just the idea of like, no. You're this whole thing is fucked from your perspective, Grisha. You have someone who is the next, Attack Titan.
Effectively, even if it's just something that happens at one point in the future,
right.
then doesn't matter. That's the power of the Attack Titan.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing, though. That's the thing.
It's irrelevant.
But no, I know. But the idea is that his verbiage of it is wrong, but what's actually happening is actually right. And it's just this perfect thing where Grisha's like, you don't realize, I've been haunted by future memories
and
for years now.
Right. And so the crazy thing to think about
Yeah.
is this something where Eren could also be kind of brainwashed by a future self? Because if you think about it, the Eren that we had, because we can see how Eren would get to this point, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, if we look at the arc that Eren has had, starts as a rage monster even before the, tragic backstory, right?
Right.
But as we go, that starts to get broken down. Season 2 finale, right? Season 3 part 1 finale, right? It just keeps on going, and then eventually season 3 part 2 finale, right?
Well, season 3 part 2 finale has him connecting with Historia there.
Right, and I love that they showed that in here, even though
that was before his if we
kill all the people over there, will we finally be free?
I think that was basically a moment where him now having tapped into some element of paths, basically through Historia there, got a picture of what the future was going to be, and he's like, guys, I'm scared.
If I had wanted,
I feel like that was him reaching out to Mikasa and Armin, like, do I really have to go through with this?
Right. If there was anything that I wish had been done slightly differently from this episode, is just to have like an extra 2 seconds for that just bit of it happening when he touched Historia's hand. Because if you think about it, you're talking about sending memories through time.
Yeah.
It literally does not matter when it happens.
It does not matter when it happens.
So it doesn't have to be something that happened here when Eren touched Zeke.
Yeah.
No, it's just right back there.
Right.
He kissed Historia's hand. There you go. Boom. Done.
And now that we have the hard explanation and/or hard example of how this happens, this could have happened throughout history already.
Yep. Or throughout the future.
Well, yeah, obviously it happens in the future at some point.
Right, but it's something of just it happens.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Which is a wonderful way to tie into the whole idea of the cycle of violence, because this is literally a cycle at this point, right? This is
actually a cycle,
And what I love even more about it is that it's not just necessarily a cycle of time travel and all of that stuff, even though it is that too. But it's a thought cycle. In the same way that the hatred and the desire for revenge and to kill and all of that is something eye for an eye is something that is passed along. It was passed from Gabby to Kaya, right? And
it's
then
not just something that gets passed along in the memories, basically, or what have you. It's something that literally gets passed down by Zeke's perspective of no, parents will unintentionally brainwash their kids at times to make them believe things so that they propagate their own beliefs.
It's the whole thought virus thing. It's the idea of memes even. It's that whole concept. And hey, what do you know? That's happening here. And we have examples of in this show and even in this episode of people specifically trying to act against that cycle. And them making the individual decision of no, I'm not going to do this. And in the same way, when Grisha made that decision of I'm not going to kill children,
his voice acting was so
God,
good.
that was so good. At the same time, I forget her name, but the current founding titan at that point, right? Frida. Yeah, Frida. She stopped. She was not going to bite her hand or anything.
Well, her eyes weren't purple at the time either.
Yeah.
At that point when she was not actively doing anything to kill him or fight him or anything like that, her eyes weren't purple.
Yep. It's the ability of the individual to affect change. And that's constantly been Eren's mantra, basically, of I myself as an individual, because I was born into this world, I will affect change.
I will keep moving forward. Yep.
I will keep moving forward, right? Until all our enemies are defeated and all that stuff. But then what happens when that actually gets turned into a double-bladed dagger, right? And then suddenly, what if Eren himself becomes victim of that? Is there any way that these individuals, these friends that have come around Eren, could they possibly against all cosmic odds, maybe reach the friend that they knew?
Yep.
Who knows?
Who knows? Who fucking knows?
Yeah.
That's in some ways why I feel like it doesn't matter whether they reach him or not.
Yeah. Whatever happens from here on out, it doesn't matter.
Eren has to die. Eren has to die. That has to be in some ways the final bit of freedom that he gets, basically.
Gotcha.
Because I do believe a little bit that this is something that could be a weird twist on the cycle there. But when you think about time and how it must exist once you're outside it, it is a dimension.
Okay.
It is a localized dimension. You can see it. It is perfectly contained.
Sure, if you're separate from it, yeah, in the paths realm or whatever, yeah.
Right. So once Eren in episode 1 starts screaming and frothing that I'm going to kill them all, that thought virus, if you will, that idea of they did this to me, I'm going to do this back to them, perpetuates in some ways all the way forward who Eren will be.
Right, and at some point in some time, there was an Eren that turned into, you know, whatever he is now, right? Yeah. And sent those memories back and guided things to be this way. Cool.
Yeah. And
like we might not even be dealing with the regular Eren of this timeline. Eren might not be dealing with the Eren of this timeline, you know? Like all of those little flashes that Eren would get and that he was trying to make sense of, you know, maybe it would have been a lot better for him if he had never come into contact with Historia and there was always that filter, you know?
Yep.
Who knows?
Who knows? It's one of those things where I want there to be a moment where we are, in some ways the OP kind of almost spoils that they have to do this, that they go back all the way to the very, very, very beginning. And it's Eren basically looking at himself as he sits underneath the tree,
like
and he's crying for
like
a
in the
little
OP
bit.
almost.
Yeah, like in the OP. Yeah,
season 3, part 1. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, also in this OP.
Oh, yes.
We literally see him looking at the tree, and then he ages up, you know.
Yeah.
But have something where it's could I have actually changed anything?
Right.
Like,
and
maybe that's the other tragedy here, is that Eren might have, through an iteration, tried to stop himself, but he ended up just making it worse.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I love the table scene when Armin says to him, "You're not really free. If you hate people that aren't free, take a look at yourself," right?
Yeah.
And in the declaration of war, right, Eren didn't feel like he was free, right? It was a thing of I have to, you know, like, if this decision is made by them, then I have to do this decision in response, right?
Right. This is a really cracked, deep theory, but could the actual vow of renouncing war been this whole giga-brained strat of, I'm going to protect me and my future, like founding titans from myself.
Sure, like
in
Eren,
the future.
Yeah, Eren tried to like send something back to make it so that way there's this vow renouncing war.
Right. And that vow could have been literally a thing of we are trying to keep whoever this thing is that's going to come and bring about war from ever happening.
Right. And that could have been Eren. That could have just been the king from back then.
That could have been just a little bit of foresight, you know?
It's another example of that individual will trying to rage against the cosmos, right? The question is with this show and these characters that we're following,
will that side of human nature win out?
Right. Which part of the cosmos are they following on?
It's the whole thing of nature versus nurture. It's a really powerful potential look at it, is that your environment does brainwash you.
Sure.
That is a fundamental aspect. But in some ways as well, your nature predisposes you towards certain types of brainwashing then in that respect.
If you even just think about the idea of brainwashing
is a very hard word.
I know, but
you get what we're saying.
But if you break down what brainwashing is, what it's doing is it's teaching someone something that can be totally valid, but with eliminating all of the other perspectives potentially to the contrary.
Which is literally what Eren was doing with Grisha by literally fucking with the way this was going here, by not showing him certain aspects of the future. He was literally like, "Why haven't you shown me this? Why?
Yeah.
Why?"
Yeah. And that's also what Eren was basically experiencing as a child, because he was in this cloistered environment where he could not see the outside world.
Nope.
So of course he wants to see the outside world. And you know what? He does.
Yep. He fucking does. And now,
but we're still here.
Here we are. Yeah. I think that this is probably one of my favorite things about Attack on Titan, is even if a lot of the storytelling is retroactive application of context,
like adding,
the fact that most, if not like an overwhelming percentage of the foreshadowing is capitulated in these really satisfying ways, even if we have time travel, time loop bullshit.
Even if
going
Isayama just wanted to shade over Grisha's eyes back then for like a cool mystery factor and didn't think he was going to do some crazy Ava Paths time travel memory passing shenanigans, you know? Like, he could have, theoretically, you know?
It doesn't
but
matter,
like,
really.
But yeah, well, and whose memories are these? You know?
Wait.
Like, if you think about it, you know?
Okay, let's not get too fourth wall.
No, not that.
But I know what you're saying.
No, but the idea that whether it was something that he came up with back then or something that he came up with later, does that make it any less valid?
No.
Just because
not really,
Eren is
no.
currently thinking these things and having these thought processes and feelings and things like that doesn't make the other stuff any less valid. The stuff that Zeke felt back then when he only had this limited perspective on Grisha, does it make that any less valid when suddenly he sees Grisha, you know, that he was able to turn away from it? He did, you know, he had the opportunity to kill kids and go after the Founding Titan, and he didn't. He chose a life of peace with his family, that he wished he could apologize to Zeke, and when he gets to, through some miracle granted to him by the devil of all earth, the cosmos, whatever, he takes that opportunity, right?
And
I love this show.
Yeah.
So all those times when you were like, so season 4, like, it's gonna be pretty crazy, right? I had this stuff to think about. Like,
among all the other good shit.
among all the other good shit, right? Like, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, there were so many things I loved about this episode, and yet because of how like simple the montage of going through like a lot of Eren's,
They spent their time on this,
stuff
and I'm so grateful.
I feel like in some ways like there's still so much more path shit we could get into. Like
Now-
I don't feel like we're done here because one, Eren is still chained. So
We think.
well, we hope, but
Yeah.
like what is actually being set up potentially pre like rumbling, because Eren has to get the rumbling to go. But if Zeke is one that ends up being convinced himself,
Sure.
what maybe things are Eren's like kind of quiet caveats that he keeps between the two of them as brothers. Maybe there's something in where Zeke is now like not giving up, but he's realizing that he's going to have to give up on convincing Eren, and he's more going to have to placate Eren.
Sure.
Here.
Can Eren find
actually
the balance?
Right.
Because-
What is
yeah.
actually stopping Eren do here? Because we could just see a thing where Zeke's like, "Oh shit! All right, euthanization. Let's go. Like we're doing
Do
it right now. Do it
right.
now. Yeah.
Save the world from Eren.
And maybe there's a mechanic where Eren is like, no. And then it
Sure.
becomes this contest of wills or what have you.
I could totally see at this point Zeke being okay with being like, all right, euthanization right now, you know, assuming he's actually capable, like he thinks,
that, yeah.
right? And then it's just, okay, Eren, I'm just gonna spend the rest of my days with you, and we're going to talk about this and try and figure this shit out.
Yeah.
But you know, yeah, it's
God, so many of those little clips with Grisha kind of noticing them and what have you.
Yeah.
It's just such a clever way to quickly go through all this, but you can very much tell that Grisha over the course of this time was getting worn down.
Oh yeah.
And it's a little bit of a, what's a way to kind of describe it? It's a little bit of an aspect of where one, he's a Titan, you know, like he's only got 13 years, right?
And he was probably coming up on the end of his term.
Oh, he should have been very close.
Yeah,
to
because
the end of
Eren
his
was
term.
like 10 when in the first episode when all of this happened. So
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
yeah, so you know, at most he was 2 years away.
Right,
At
but
most.
the idea of Grisha almost having this like worn out, you can't really tell how old he is kind of look. And that's been something I loved what they've done with Zeke as well, because Zeke's like 29 or what have you. But it's like Zeke looks like he could be 45 under certain context, except for his ripped ass bod, you know.
Yeah, you know, it's the majestic beard really does, you know, make it
lot.
hard to tell. Yeah.
Right. But that Grisha, who we saw at multiple times basically before this season, seeing him like broken, just
Yeah.
it's something else to now realize how much he might have been completely just fucked
Yep.
by Eren.
Right. And the thing is that there was still some aspect of his will that remained because he still had ego, right? He was able to say, I did it, Eren, right? You know, So that's something, right? But even if you think about it,
well, I mean, just
in the when he's giving him the shot, and he says, "You have to save Mikasa and Armin." Who says that's him saying that?
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
That sounds a lot like what Kruger said.
That sounds a lot like what Kruger said. Yeah.
And given this, there is no necessary reason why Eren would have it be different for him than for Grisha, because if you're dealing with time muckery, you're dealing with a different Eren anyways, right? So is there any chance that because the problem with the way Eren is not the fact that he has that strong sense of justice of I'll attack the would-be rapists and sex traffickers and stuff, you know, to save this girl.
Right.
It's not that. It's the problem that it's okay, now I'm going to take that and let it just run wild and go to an absolute extreme where, all right, kill the kids. You know, like that's, you know.
Which means I kill innocence because of potential future problems.
Exactly. And at what point is there any, in the same way that there was that broken Grisha, right? Is there any chance that there is a broken Eren in there that could be reached, right? And if
that's why I want this series to end with a conversation, but I also feel like it can't. I feel like it has to end more with Eren dying.
Gotcha. And that's sort of like the final word in the conversation?
Right. The final act after all words have been said, basically.
Gotcha.
And then we just hope, we hope that, well, on a simple level, there's plenty of people to give humanity hope just in general in the future.
Well, and that's one of the things that I love about this episode and the way that this whole development goes, is that at this point, in a show as crazy as Attack on Titan, I find myself having hope that we could get something as like almost cheesy as a Power of Friendship ending, where, like, you know, theoretically Armin sticks his sword into Eren's Titan again and is like, remember our dream, you know, right? Like that maybe something like that could happen, but will we get it? It doesn't seem likely, but maybe.
Yeah, it just reminds me of just so many times where Armin, like specifically Armin, has just like called out to Eren with just this calm voice of like, hey, remember?
We're gonna see the ocean.
But like there's almost this idea of like, remember?
Yeah. Which is
Think
funny.
Think back on the past.
Think back on the memories.
The memories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I am not one of those people that will say that Attack on Titan was meticulously planned out from the very beginning, right? No. But with the way a lot of the things in this show just mesh so well. They just weave together beautifully. It is such a treasure to me that this show that was, you know, my more or less introduction to like really getting me excited about anime, that was so different back then with season 1, right? As it's evolved and grown and turned into something so completely different, and yet you can see the paths and how it connected to it, right? That I can still love it this much, more even than I did back then.
It's something where I don't lightly throw this word around, but it's the kind of thing where Attack on Titan is or has or will, depending on the time side of things, whose memories are these, be a masterpiece. And it's not because it's perfect.
Right.
It's not because it's got everything tied up perfectly with a neat bow, but because of what it's trying to do.
Much like Eren, it struggles against these cosmic odds. Although maybe Eren is the cosmic, you know.
Well, that's the thing
right now.
Eren is not a god.
No, he's not.
Eren is not a god.
But he's pretty damn close.
He is really fucking close. And the thing is that I wouldn't trust, personally, even in a fantastical world or what have you, any kind of god entity to basically come to humanity with a single solution, a final solution, if you will.
Yeah.
Like, I am like, no, fuck that. Give us,
and that's why so many JRPGs are about fighting God and power of friendship.
Like,
you know?
I'm like, no, give us as many chances as we can to get it right. And I honestly think that's why there's a slight bit of hope, is that
Love someone within the walls.
Yeah, Eren has been trying to save Armin and Mikasa.
Right.
And even across time and space, he's been telling his past selves, if you will, to save Armin and Mikasa, which is so basic, simple, and while I'd say human, there's almost something powerless in it.
Ooh,
the idea
like desperate and like,
please just
this is
save
all I can,
two.
Just two, yeah, just these two. Which
is so fucked if you think about it from the standpoint if it's like a god entity saying that.
Sure.
That's why I don't think Eren is a god.
Right.
He's more of a devil.
And well, sure, but then that's also the human side that, you know, would be revealing itself.
But that's the thing is that it's so powerless. It's literally just the last little bits of please just save them.
Like a feeble little cry.
A feeble little cry. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why I love the visuals of Red Swan so much. With the adults,
Red Swan just keeps getting better and better the more I think about it.
Looking off into the distance, the sky, the horizon.
It was kind of like almost the ocean in a lot of ways.
The ocean and the sky, but
those kind of blend together
with everything, you know, speeding past so quickly. Like time was starting to have less meaning than it normally would. And then little kid Eren tries to get his attention, but he can't see him.
Like, I wish nothing had ever gone this way. I really wish, you know, the ring had never come to me. So do all who live to see such times, but it is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us.
And given how Eren looked in this episode, I get the feeling we know what he's decided.
I think we know exactly what he's decided. And we're just hoping that there's that lost little child somewhere in there that still, yes, murdered the rapists and kidnappers and what have you and the sex traffickers, but also wrapped that scarf around Mikasa.
Right.
That and little moment where he stopped and looked at the two of them having that moment felt like, oh my God, is this him basically being like, well, at least I'll always have this, you know, at least I'll always have this memory, you know?
Yeah.
Because I really feel like Eren is headed towards a very, very dark future here. And there's just enough light peeking through that I have to hope. I have to hope.
Just enough, that glimmer that's enough to hold out. But
it is not looking good here.
No, it isn't.
The portrayal of how just the shadow over Eren's eyes, but then also those little flashes of like, like just
even the way that like
malice
and the way that he was drawn was like contorted to make it seem more like animalistic and devil-like and just inhuman and all of that. Yeah.
Okay. Zeke's dead. Zeke has now basically been given the death flag of, well, all death flags. Just he got his moment, his tragic backstory, if you will.
Sure. He had his reconciliation with his father.
And
now it's like
and I loved the even the moment where Zeke's like, yeah, it's almost like the father saved the world. You know, because the father gave me the realization of, you know, what I must do.
Right.
But, you know, you go by that logic, Zeke, you go back infinitely. You go back to like the human condition almost in that respect.
Sure.
And in some ways, this world already has an ancient history, you know, element to it, but it's wrapped in myth and, you know, kind of, you know, dramatized, kind of like, ooh, devil of all earth or something like that. And it's a, you know, a deal and all that. And it's like, oh man,
and how
this
much
show could go even more Ava.
and how much has Eren guided to be this way? If he guided Grisha with the stabbing the scalpel into his hand to kill the Rice family, who's to say he didn't go back further?
I know. That's what I was saying earlier. And
another way to think about it, if he didn't, why didn't he? You know, like he could have saved Faye from getting eaten by the dogs. Right?
See, that's the thing. That's the thing that I'm almost.
He could have made it so he was never born into this world.
Right. That's the thing is that on some level, one of my favorite things about the themes of the story
Mm-hmm.
is that Eren is doing things in a way that would violate some core aspects of who he was by robbing someone else of their freedom.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also the thing as to where, in some ways, the only person that then, by that logic, that you would actually be comfortable robbing of their freedom is yourself.
Sure.
And that might be the only way in which he's holding these two contradicting things in balance. Is that it's like, no. If someone's gonna rob me of their freedom, I'll take theirs
if he's
away.
going to basically override Grisha or do whatever he did
Or
in order
override the freedoms of many others.
Right, you know, all the murder aside.
All the murder
you know,
aside,
right.
yeah.
If he's going to do that to Grisha,
Mm-hmm.
it would make a lot of sense for him to be willing to do that to himself. And yet that's such a contradiction because he is all about being free.
Right.
And, you know, and maybe that's the meaning behind the expression when he smiled.
Mm-hmm.
When, you know, oh, because I was born into this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This world is
cruel.
Cruel, but it's also very beautiful.
That's right.
So, yeah.
So is this show.
So is this show. Yeah. So y'all, I hope to see you all in the discussion and analysis breakdown stream on Monday tomorrow on twitch.tv/semblanceofsanity_YT. Please show up for that.
That's going to be
a
crazy.
doozy.
This will be a fun episode to go through. Oh boy,
slowly. But also the code for this episode. I want it to be something small. I want it to be something slight. No. Maybe what is Grisha's first line?
I killed them.
No. Is this what you wanted?
Ooh.
That's the line. There we go. That's gonna be the code. That's really good.
I mean, and it's a great question because is this what you wanted, Eren?
Is this what you wanted?
We don't really know, but this is what he's choosing.
Mm-hmm. All right, our little freedom boy is.
Would you like some freedom? Yeah.
So, if you want to have your comment featured in the next episode's reaction, leave a comment with the tagline, "Is this what you wanted?" And Jacob will grab 3 of them.
That's right.
And feature them in the next episode's reaction intro. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. Thank you so much for watching our Attack on Titan reactions.
Yes.
And the discussions, like the community of Attack on Titan, although we get a filtered aspect of it, due to spoiler protection.
Gotta keep those at bay.
The fact that we get basically the 2 halves of that has got to be like one of the coolest, like, unique things about all the things we've, like, compared to everything else we've reacted to in general.
It is a lot of fun seeing you go through all of this. Like I love seeing this be given motion and music and everything
for potentially years at this point.
It was hard. It was hard.
But if you want to see the full-length timer version of this reaction, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. Any level of support there gets you access to our Discord, where you can get involved in that community for the manga people, for the anime onlys, and we can talk also about anime storytelling in general. And also be sure to check out that Twitch channel that has a stream tomorrow for Attack on Titan.
That's right. We do streams every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.